Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Sunless Skies. We have made it now to the Brabazon Workworld, out of the Reach, back to Albion, where things undoubtedly will get worse for us in so many ways, but for right now, I'm just so happy not to be pursued by giant space ghosts, right? So let's have a look around the Brabazon Workworld, the first Workworld to be established in Albion. We did a little bit, but there is an awful lot more to do. So, we could travel over to Little Nice, where the more privileged overseers reside. Not the sort of people that our character traditionally gets along with very well. Speaking of not the sort of people that our character traditionally gets along with very well, I don't really know what to expect when we get to London. We know that the Windward Company probably has some feelings about us. We do not have any idea how those feelings have been transmitted back to London, if they have at all. My suspicion is we're not going to be, like, arrested and hanged at the port or anything. Probably, if much of our exploits are known in London, they'll regard us as more of a curiosity, I think, unable to perceive us as a threat, because we are so small and they are so very large. And hopefully that will work to our benefit until we can get the hell out of there. Anyway, let's have a look around. We could go on a little tour. I suppose let's go on a little tour. Interesting. A neatly printed sign offers tours of Brabazon. Witness the worthy work of Albion's unfortunates, blessed with toil. Oh, aren't they just? Near it, several well-dressed personages are gathered in a tight group. Occasional guffaws rise above the chatter. So once we join the tour, we will not be able to leave to the end. The workers are not yet rising up. This gives me so much hope. And we have a barrel of unseasoned hours that we could donate to protect ourselves from Brabazon's accelerated time. Or we could do the same thing, but spend one of our savage secrets. The Overseer requires information. No one can be sentenced to the Workworld without there first being evidence of a crime. Although my suspicion is that the word evidence should be in quotation marks here. We could also just have a little chat with an Overseer. And of course, we have work to do for the incautious driver. We're just going to have to search every port in Albion, I suppose. Well, the hours are worth money, and the secret is not. We don't know what the outcome of this will be. Presumably, me sharing this savage secret will have some horrible effect for someone somewhere in the world, but we can't know who or if maybe they deserve it, and I do need money, so... The Overseer listens intently to what you have to say. Useful, I think. We shall see what can be done with it. She directs you to a group by the tour leader, who shepherds you all into a side room. We certainly have savage secrets to spend. The tour leader hands out thick cloaks to keep off the smut. The group covers itself. The hood lends one woman with her hair coiled up high on her head an awkward shape and unexpected height. Satisfied, the tour leader begins a briefing. So we are each presented with a carriage clock. Is that like a pocket watch? I don't really know what a carriage clock is. As you know, time on the Workworlds moves more velocitously than it does outside. In order to exempt you from the effects, we've had the looms spin a fold of external hours to cover the tour. Please carry these carriage clocks. They will show you how much time your protection will last for. Please, don't stray. He pauses for emphasis. It is crucial that you stay with the tour. If your time runs out, every minute it takes for us to realize could be hours for you. There is a flurry of anxious whispers. Once it has subsided, the group is led onto the Workworld. This is truly terrifying to me. The group is accompanied by two Overseers. The Overseer bringing up the rear is a woman in her early 30s. She checks her carriage clock compulsively, as would I. Well, I suppose let's start by admiring the rugs. Our first stop on the tour is the Brabazon Rug Weaving Workshop. The Overseer beams and gestures for you to enter a building larger than any other on the street. Okay, it didn't auto-scroll down for me. It usually does. An attractive young worker leaps up to greet you. This workshop was built thanks to the generosity of Lady Somebody. Please admire our beautiful handcrafted rugs and weavings, exported for sale in London. Workers here gain skills that can support them for the rest of their days. Where days has a meaning that is perhaps not exactly what we're used to. The group of workers nods and smiles at you. One stands to better display their work. Another thanks you for your visit. The youth is the last to see you out. Perhaps I'll see you elsewhere in Albion. I imagine big shiny teeth. We've seen rugs like these in countless homes. They're cheap within the means of all but the poorest families. Or we could smile at the workers who are almost certainly not actually the workers, right? These are people who have been brought up for the workers for their willingness to play ball. So, I mean, they're still people, though. And I know what these rugs look like. Yeah, sure. They smile back, and their smiles are as stiff and rehearsed as the line the youth delivered. The tour moves on. You know, what was I expecting? Turns out that bag's full of dead doves. Moving on from the rug workshop, the tour is directed toward a glass factory. The air is yellow with smog. That's the bad kind. Let's visit the glassworkers. A fascinating aspect of Brabazon is the mutually beneficial relationship between the place and its workers. The overseer makes a sweeping gesture. Make note of this smog. I'll explain more inside. The building you enter is heated by vast furnaces and ovens. Workers are blowing molten glass. The smog prevents much of the sun's heat from reaching Brabazon. Without factories such as this, Brabazon would freeze. The workers keep the factories alive, the factories heat the work world, and it becomes a pleasant place to live. Here, work enriches life. Several of the group coo in admiration. One man boasts about his Brabazon glass collection. A young lady in gaudy finery turns to you. My parents paid for the main furnace to ensure that the poor would never go without. What did you fund? Boy, which guy am I? We're not a great liar, so maybe let's try not to deceive anyone any more than we absolutely must. Confess you are not one of the donors. You are a locomotive captain, traversing the wilderness, defeating horrors, delivering goods. But perhaps one day you will engage in charitable endeavors. Hey, listen, have you read my book about my exploits? Sorry, about someone's exploits that are similar to mine. The young lady blushes. So dangerous. So romantic. That sounds much more fun. Is it difficult? Perhaps my parents will buy me a locomotive. She seems bored for much of the rest of the tour. It seems the thrills of your profession outweigh the charm of inherited virtue. Temporarily, I suspect. The tour moves on through the upper layer of Brabazon towards a refinery that belches heat like a dying dragon. Let us peer through the window at the hour refiners. Please line up here, that's it. The overseer indicates alongside a long, low window. It has been recently cleaned to a shine. Inside, hard-working souls refine raw hours imported from the Reach. After this process, they may be spun in hour looms and put to use. He taps his carriage clock as an example. The refinery is a clamoring, roaring space of long benches, sweating workers, and rolling smoke. The overseer explains. The geodes containing the hours are cracked open, and the fibrous strands of salt-like time are separated with small chisels and saws. Men and women do the former work, children the latter. The filaments are then passed through a series of furnaces to remove impurities, which are in turn brushed away in an indigo slush. The slush is raked to ensure not even a stray minute is lost. Once the seconds and minutes and hours are extracted, they are seasoned, taken from a very high temperature to a very low one and back. After this, the tangled clumps, the color of the sky just before dawn or after dusk, are carded and wound onto spools in long filaments. The overseer raps sharply on the window. As one, the nearby workers look up, smile, and wave. Well, you can't say they don't hit their cues. Uh-oh. The rest of the tour is moving on. If we allow ourselves to get separated, we might not be able to find our way back. But we could linger and watch and see what they do when they haven't got an audience. The thing is, I don't particularly feel that I need to spend effort looking behind the curtain, because we already know what we'll find back there, right? I think we can maybe just avoid the risk. The lead overseer is all concern and smiles when you rejoin the group. Given his care now, it is odd he didn't check you were still with them when they moved on. Perhaps what matters is only what can be reported back. You use nearly half your time. Leaving the refinery behind, you turn through the streets toward the ceaseless ring of hammers. A short walk, then you enter a dusty yard. The tour leader adopts a noble frown. Unfortunately, not all work on Brabazon can be creatively fulfilling. No, not like mining the sand out of those rocks. We also produce raw components, like gravel and aggregates. You have looped back to a yard near the bit between. The second overseer is already there. Men and women, hard with muscle, bright with sweat, are breaking rocks with sledgehammers. They wear vests and breeches, with cloth masks to keep out the worst of the dust. We equip our workers with safety gear, just in case prolonged exertion in this air might prove unpleasant. As you can see, the regular exercise ensures they are strong and healthy. Many leave Brabazon with athletic inclinations, and pursue fitness as a profession. A stout gentleman with a monocle sidles up to you. Well, this whole place is just marvelous, eh? Kept busy while paying off debts, given new skills and education, simply marvelous. Ooh, okay, well, I know I said we were going to lie as little as possible, but I wonder what the consequences of a truth now might be. Let's think for a second about who our character is. So, we're well acquainted with the consequences of getting the wrong kind of attention from the wrong sort of people, right? We were in some sort of institution, possibly also a prison, or possibly those two things were the same thing. And we would be very, very reluctant to arouse that sort of suspicion again. But also, maybe this is more me than the character. I'm having a hard time with my disgust here. Let's equivocate. I am though so repulsed by the whole thing, but that's me, not the character. Well, on one hand, yes, but on the other hand, no, and on the third hand, his eyebrow rises so far that his monocle falls. We did it. We actually popped his monocle out. Well, there's always something better. That's easy to say. And do you have any suggestions for exactly what? He swells with hurt pride. I donate what I can, and I come to this ghastly place to ensure it's well spent. What more do you want? What more indeed? Come on, the overseer is gesturing at you angrily. We can't waste another moment. We have to leave now. I mean, we've only used up half our time. I guess we have to walk back, right? I know we sort of circled around, didn't it say? It's important we return in plenty of time, so I'm afraid we'll have to end the tour here. The lead overseer circles the group, shepherding the huddle through the doors, back to the bit between. Maybe that was a little bit cowardly, but again, just trying to keep my head low while we're here. The second overseer takes a head count. A poor one, for she double counts twice before giving up. Nevertheless, she signals her partner to go ahead. I hope you appreciated our little tour, and we shall pass your thanks on to the workers of Brabazon. Perhaps when they've paid off their debts, you'll see them again. The overseer shakes the hands of the most prominent donors. Of course, this entire endeavor is thanks to your generosity, he murmurs to them. While the group preens, he collects the carriage clocks. The overseer who takes your spent carriage clock draws you aside. You're a Skyfarer, aren't you? We've need for someone, without official connections to the governor, to help us with a delicate matter. Okay. I guess I'm listening. There are unsavory individuals on Brabazon Workworld. I know, they just gave me a tour. They inveigle others to do their work so that they might have time to plot. They are fomenting unrest. He shakes his head. It won't do. It just makes the other workers unhappy. Next time, see if you can sneak away from the tour. I hear their leader is looking for outside assistance. He winces. For once, time is on their side. They have so long to plan relative to us. If you hear anything, pass it to me. I'll be around here. That is very interesting. I mean, okay. So what are the odds that this is sort of like a 1984 revolution situation where this guy overheard me not being sufficiently positive about the work world, and he's trying to send me to their men on the inside whose job it is to ensnare people who might try to help the workers. That's a complicated plot that they wouldn't really have much use or much reason to execute on me, I suppose. And if I don't think that's what's happening, then I really want to go in there and talk to this person and help them in whatever way I can get away with. Let's accept with apparent delight. The workworlds are vital to London's industry. They keep debtors out of prison. Revolutionaries here are fools. Yeah, we're definitely gonna try to help this person as much as we can. Thank you. I'm so glad you understand. He smiles. I'll be putting a case to the governor. I'll make sure you're paid for any information that helps us quell unrest. He shakes your hand and indicates to a barrel in the corner. You'll need these. Come back to me if you hear anything. I'll be around. Okay, so we still have the option of doing this thing, which we're totally going to do, because that's just free money that they handed us. Let's... hold on. Before we go back, though, let's do anything else we have to do here, just in case our brilliant plan goes sideways and we have to leave in a real hurry. So, first of all, let us help the incautious driver hunt for the verdant fragment. Their connection to its progenitor should assist. We are guaranteed to fail on this, and as we continue to search places, we will get better at finding it. Oh, what a surprise. A failed attempt. The incautious driver spends hours sniffing at the air in search of familiar spores, but to no avail. We should try somewhere else, they reluctantly decide, shuffling with uncharacteristic glumness back toward the train. Well, listen, buddy, we'll find him. Okay, what else do I want to do? For Starshine, requirements might be waived. Why does that have an icon on it? Is that... that icon's not normally on that... I don't know. I don't know, that's wild. Okay, let's attempt conversation with an overseer. Few are willing to stop for mere conversation. Those that do will only linger at the little niece end of the tunnel. It's safer. Overseers scurry back and forth along the glass tunnel, clumping at the little niece end. As they enter Little Niece, they remove grimy capes to reveal cheery red and white striped blazers. These are hung up to be collected on their re-entrance to the bit between. None seem willing to stop and talk, but somehow we've gained 2 sky stories, I guess just from overhearing them. Alright, let's have a little look at this picturesque village. Thick double doors separate the bit between from Little Niece. Fresh air of this pretty village is in sharp contrast to that near the dock. It is entirely charming. It is populated with carefully unique houses, painted in a curated array of colors. Overseers in striped blazers tend the topiary and maintain the paintwork. Behind a water feature, bustling with cherubs, is a cottage with an out-of-place little tower. This is home to the governor of Brabazon. Okay, well, we could recline on the bench here and lower our terror a little, but our terror is actually at 0. Oh, we should certainly write a report. The overseers here work hard to ensure Little Niece remains perfect, from the freshly painted fence curlicues to the newly mown grass of the lawn. It's hard to get a sense of what's going on in Brabazon from your current curated surroundings. The overseers themselves are of no use. They must have been briefed. Each gives you clearly sanitized information. You only have to speak to 4 before you hear a repetition. You'll have to go down to the work world itself to learn anything true about Brabazon. Well, ain't that always the way? I guess we could have a little chat with the governor. Bring gossip to take tea with the governor. He'll let you keep what you can't consume. Okay. In the absence of more direct control from London, he is all-powerful here. He points out a plaque on the wall. This is a list of the original donors who helped us set up the Brabazon Workworld. They've all contributed to this place, a place where the destitute can learn new skills and find a home. He leans back in his desk chair. Some donors visit Brabazon to ensure their good work continues. Well, this is a pretty good trade for us. I do love additional tea. Could I just do this a bunch? I guess we don't know what else we might need gossip for, but it's cool that we can trade gossip for something that's actually useful here. Do I want to do it again? Hold on, didn't I just write this? Oh, you cannot... I read all this stuff and then didn't even look at the blue text. You know, the blue text that has the actual rules. Okay, let's do one more trade. We have 8 gossip. There's no way we need to have 8. I'm absolutely down to trade 2 gossip for tea. This tea is pretty valuable. I might even do it again. Yeah, sure. We've certainly had no trouble coming by gossip. Okay, so now we have enough tea to pursue the next step of the Repentant Devil thing, and still to sell some off when we reach London. Although I don't know if it'll be any value, because it probably came from London in the first place, huh? Well, maybe we'll bank it there. and then sell it next time we're in New Winchester, or wherever the next major port is. Alright, let's see. Overseers wait to escort you to the governor. Brabazon must be self-sufficient. Without industry to justify their lighting, our fires will go out. We must have work. His brow furrows. The workers refuse to understand that they live so long as they work. That is not a threat, it is a fact of living here. They require hope. Give it to them. Not enough to stir them into revolt, but enough that the fires remain lit. Okay, that was... Alright, I suppose I'll try. It's a little vague, don't you think? Did I write a proper port report here already? Do we have that? No. And I didn't see the option to do it. Alright, well, let's join a tour. All that time we spent building up knowledge in the Reach is really paying off. Okay, so receive a carriage clock. We're just gonna follow the tour just as we did last time, except this time we are going to... I mean, we may as well pick the other option here as well. The handiwork is competent. Their predominant colors are black and gold, the Empress's favorites. Lions are popular designs, and unicorns, and crowns. How patriotic. Okay, no big surprise there. So... this might be where we want to sneak away from the group, as they're entering the glass factory, right? See anything real of the place you're going to have to explore unsupervised. The guides are focused on moving the tour along. No one notices you slipping down an alley. The shanties are pressed close together. There are no more streets, only cramped alleys. Their few windows are clogged with filth. Grimy workers trudge from work to home, eating as they go. Time is precious here. Minutes not spent at work are given to sleep. Okay, well, looks like now we can write our port report. Brabazon is one of several work worlds, but it is preeminent. Affairs there act as a barometer for the others. Industry is booming here, as always. Labor is cheap, demand is high. Discontent simmers among the workers, but the ones who prove valuable are promoted to oversight positions. The wheels turn. Brabazon persists. Use nearly half your time. Alright. So we have the option here to trade supplies for Tales of Terror. That seems, as much as I would like to supplement the workers' meager rations, we have limited time and kind of limited supplies. I don't actually know how far we are from London. Presumably London is at the center of this map, the same way New Winchester was at the center of the last one. But we don't know that we can necessarily go directly there, right? We might have to take kind of a wide route around. Let's just get to exploring. A thin, determined girl pulls a handcart along the street. Lying in the back is a rag-wrapped corpse. Many fail to pay off their debts at the work world and end their days here. Should the deceased have any debt still owing, it will now become the responsibility of his descendants and relatives. Really, only 5 terror from that. Okay, we could provide books to a school if we had any books. A man sits on a roughly made chair, occasionally coughing brown phlegm into a handkerchief. When he sees you, he shouts, "A penny for your time?" He laughs. Well, I mean, I do have hours. This is a real drop in the bucket, though. And I wonder if he would be more insulted by the offer. Well, even if he is, we should make it. Oh, that's not good. Damn, I didn't expect you to actually give me any. Thank you. He stares hungrily at your donation. I couldn't work today. I couldn't. Whatever I earn gets spent on my debt. It'll never be paid off. I've stopped caring whether it grows. He stands to shake your hand. Please, take this. The overseers haven't taken this month's money yet. He laughs. It is too loud and too long. I like to watch the people who still expect change. You've given me a little longer to watch their hope die. Only 2 terror from that, huh? Well, we traded a barrel of unseasoned hours for 40 sovereigns and a little bit of, what do you call it? Respect here. A little bit of reputation with the workers. There is still time. You've used up more than half your time. Let's explore a little bit more. Okay. A thin, determined girl. Yeah, that's... I was hoping that we would get maybe... that there would maybe be more than one result to that. Let's go ahead and rejoin the tour. Someone has marked every corner with chalk. The arrows point toward the Brabazon tour route. Here and there, the markings have been covered over with soot, but it's easy enough to get back. Whoever the marker was, they were anxious not to get stuck here. This should have been me. I should have thought ahead. Alright, let's finish the tour. Let's get the hell out of here. Well, we have enough secrets to look around a little bit more. I mean, we could do this a bunch of times. Alright, so receive a clock. Go to the rug workshop. Smile at the workers, even though these people are, you know, totally on the payroll. We visit the glass workers and we break off afterward. Let's go ahead and confess we're not one of the donors again. That seems to go just fine. And we get some gossip, which we can trade for some tea if we want. Okay. So we could sneak away from the group here. I'm trying to remember. It was after we peered through the window that we were given the ability to just hang out and wait, right? I'm kind of curious about taking that. Alright, linger and watch after the tour moves on. What do they do when they haven't got an audience? Seconds after your group has moved on, a worker in the middle of the front row leaps from her seat. She pulls on the striped blazer that had been hidden on her lap and dashes from the room. She is replaced by another, gray and exhausted. No one looks up. Yeah, pretty much what we thought it was going to be. Alright, well, let's sneak away from the group here at the rock breaking. These are probably the people who are most miserable and thus most likely to foment revolution. Alright, so we sneak off. Do we have any... We do not, in fact, have any additional actions available. And I can't look at our map. I can look at our map. I just have to not use the button. So this port sells fuel, but not supplies. If we were to trade off supplies, we could just give charity again. We do have more hours. Try to get the workers to trust us a little bit. Your good deeds are not going unwatched. Alright, this guy said something slightly different. Please take this. The overseers haven't taken this month's money yet. Time is more important to me. It might help me last till things change here. They're going to change. Okay, so our terror has gone down a little bit. We do not yet have another option, so I think I'm going to just give again, you know, as long as we have hours here. No change in that. Where are we at time-wise? Rapidly running out, in fact. I'm gonna give up our last hours here. Your kindness has drawn the attention of a leader of the Brabazon workers. Okay, well, it's a good thing we showed up with just enough hours to do that. And our clock's last ticks are strained. We are almost out of time. We definitely should not meet with the workers leader now. We'll get to him next time. Uh-oh, the carriage clock is silent. Can't waste another moment. We have to leave now. Okay, so I think we got out of there without any ill effects. Let's take the tour one more time. Seems like the menu is a little bit jerkier today than usual. I'm not sure why. Alright, so let us... I'm assuming that at any point that we can sneak off here, we'll be able to meet with the leader. So we sneak away from the group. And indeed, a faintly bearded youth sidles up to you. Our Gov wants a word. Alright, I am all about a word. The youth ushers you past his exhausted peers into a 2-story brick house. Its doorway is lit with a red lamp. A wiry, ginger-haired man grins at you over a desk littered with documents. Some are crisscrossed with scrawled notes, others are pristine and freshly inked. The faintly bearded youth has a beatific smile. Our leader, the reverberant activist, saw your work. He said you might be able to help. Alright, I'm willing to attempt to help. We've heard of your generosity. He pumps your hand. His grin is wry. And, as we know, the reward for generosity is to be asked to be more generous still. Well, I have more than they have, certainly. You have seen conditions here. This is the lot of the unfortunate, not the deserving. Brabazon is at peace. Workers respect their lot in life. But they shouldn't. I want you to help us fight back and secure better conditions for everyone who is sent here. He pats the faintly bearded youth on the back. We have the will and the strength, but lack something you have in abundance. Freedom. We need provisions and materials. We need someone who can smuggle them in. One of the overseers in the bit between believes in the cause. He describes the overseer to you. They will help you in and out. Okay, I mean, I can ferry stuff to a place. That's kind of my whole deal. So let us, their leaders ask for help. How exactly do I assist here? Oh no, they want my tea. Well, you know what? We have extra tea. Some of the workers at Brabazon are fighting for better conditions and require materials from off-world to aid their efforts. We can supply tea for the cause. We need tea. It's as good as currency, says the reverberant activist. We want some of the newer overseers on side. It would be useful to remind them where they came from. Or we could provide blackmail material. We have lots of both of these things. Where are we at now? There is still time. What did my clock say? You've used up half your time. Well, let's provide blackmail material once. I'm going to keep some savage secrets in case I have to leave and come back. The reverberant activist listens closely to the information you bring him. His eyebrows raise. Yes, this I can use. Okay, we're getting a little frantic. We have some information about an uprising. Let's give them some tea as well. I think we can afford to do one more action here. Excellent, says the reverberant activist. Precious as gold, more fungible, and less suspicious in the hands of a debtor. We can use this to bring out the virtues in some overseers, and the vices in others. Both will be useful. Workers are unhappy. They realize this isn't fair, but they cannot yet see the opportunities for change. We should probably bounce. Yep, I am being told that I must leave. Now let us return. Carriage clock is silent. Uh-oh. Okay, we made it out though. Everything's fine. So, do we want to go back in and give them tea one more time? Well, actually, we have the ability to trade for some more tea, don't we? Oh, I could signal the revolutionary agent and go straight to the hideout. We could skip some of the time burning. But let's go back to the governor. Yeah, we'll get a little bit more tea. Okay, now let's surrender a whole lot of tea. Also, let's recline on a bench for just a moment. Why not? Admire the topiary. Consider the immaculate lawn. The grass is immaculately cut, the hedges are trimmed, stars burn silver above. But it is hard to ignore the thunder of the hour looms, spinning their knot of hurrying time over the work-world below. Briefly, without terror. Alright, so let's return to the bit between, and then to the overseer who spoke of the... Oh no, not you. The revolutionary agent. This guy can just go straight to hell. The cape sliding off their left shoulder, the hair tied just so, the not remotely discreet eyebrow raise whenever you meet their eye. They match the description the revolutionaries gave you. I am a little nervous about this still being a trap, but... We're certainly going to try to help. They demand a complicated handshake before they'll hand you a carriage clock. Same deal as on the tour. I stole you a pocket of time myself. Make good use of it. As they turn to smile innocently at another overseer, they shove you toward a maintenance hatch. Get through there and someone will take you the rest of the way. Alright, so we have 6 tea, right? Oh, interesting. We have different options now. They need permits or chorister nectar. Well... shoot. Well, shoot. I guess let's talk to the revolutionary leader? Okay. Nope, nothing new. Has that, by any chance, changed the things the workers need? Nope. Okay. Well, we certainly know how to acquire lots and lots of chorister nectar. Okay, we have use for permits and nectar. I guess we'll come back. So we return to the back streets, and then... wait, how do I get out? Wait, we back up with the leader? Probably it'll just kick me out, I guess. Yeah, I guess it must. So I have no ability to leave on my own. Okay, let's just spend some time then. If we return to the back streets, there's nothing we can do but explore, which gives us terror, meet with the leader, supplement the workers' rations, which we unfortunately possibly can't afford to do. We don't actually know. I'm going to try exploring one more time, just to see if there... is it always the same text? It's not always. Weary workers struggle to their first shift, gray as ghosts in the smog. They struggle under heavy tool bags and heavier debts. The debtor's court does not give a good rate of exchange on sovereigns owned 2 years worked. Okay, so not always exactly the same text, but always the same game effect. So is the only way to leave to just meet with the leader over and over again, then? The only way to leave without acquiring a whole bunch of extra terror? Yeah, I think so. And I'm assuming once we run out of time, we'll just automatically leave. This is the only way we have to spend time. Seems a little silly. Kind of like maybe a button is missing that ought to be here. No, we're almost out of time. There we go. Archivist, you have to leave. Return when you have more time. And also more honey. Okay, well, this was productive-ish. I'm a little concerned about the performance of the game at the moment. So sorry, I'm just popping through here and trying to make sure that my computer's not running anything shouldn't ought to be running. Nope, not really. Okay. I'm hoping it won't be so bad when we're flying. So let's stop by the shops. The bazaar here, I don't suppose they're looking for tea, which they will buy at an extraordinary price, perhaps? Yeah, wow, look at the performance. I clicked bazaar like... okay, well, I think the game is slowly crashing. So that's... okay, yep. We could buy some munitions, because we have this affiliation with villainy. A doleful fence lifts the corner of a tarpaulin to show you the wares that underneath. Davy's dust, he intones, like a vicar at a funeral. Chivs, irons, barkers, bulldogs with 6 teeth. You translate his criminal argot into plain English. Gunpowder, knives, guns, guns, guns. Well, this is less than they are generally worth. I guess let's just buy all 5 crates. This is going to hurt our fuel efficiency a little bit because of the extra weight on the ship, is my understanding, but we'll run out of supplies before we run out of fuel either way. And then at little niceties, we can just buy fuel. Okay, and crockery. Alright, let's actually leave the port, shall we? So, what I would like to try to do here is get to London. I guess we could just head back north and try to go east from there. But why don't we go? Oh, this. Am I allowed to pass beyond here? Okay, I am. Trying not to let myself crash into anything too hard. I just figure we may as well explore a little bit more on our way around, right? Maybe go east and then come up from the south. We don't have all day to look around, but 2 crates of supplies will last us a while. We have no idea what the threats in this part of space are like, if there will be any. Maybe London is too developed for there to be wild, angry space monsters running around. Probably take it easy on that. Can't afford to lose too many points of supplies. Okay, there's something in almost exactly the opposite of the direction that we're going. You know, it'll still be there later. Good scouting. We'll make a note of it and then completely ignore it. We definitely have some important things to do in London. Hold on, what else? Oh, we should probably actually speak to our signaler. Oh, I needed 2 gourds of nectar and 2 tea. Why did I think it was 2 and 1? Oh well. Okay, we'll get to that. We haven't actually spoken to the conductor here. Clay Conductor has taken a berth in the back of your locomotive. He has made no attempt to personalize his cabin. All of his things, including the urn with his friend's dust, are stuffed into a suitcase that sits forlornly on the floor. He performs his duties with plodding diligence. Keeps up the maintenance of the engine, ensures things run as you would wish them to, and ostensibly looks after the crew. He does not socialize, and when not working, keeps to his bunk. So we can restore his voice with our 1 nectar. It's not necessarily the case that that we will be able to acquire multiple nectar anywhere that we'd be able to acquire any, but it's somewhat likely. Basically what I'm saying is, if we get to a place where we could get the 1 nectar necessary for this, I bet we'll be able to get a second one, so we may as well just spend the one we have now. You've overheard him attempting to sing, but he gave up quickly. His voice was gravelly and out of practice. Some nectar might help lubricate the vocal cords. Also, before we go pushing this quest forward, let's just say hello at him. Yes? He doesn't look up from a large volume of sheet music, slow hymns like the drift of continents, made from the melody of plate-shifting earthquakes. You attempt to engage him in conversation. He responds to this with reluctance. He is content for the moment. His days have been tolerable. No, he does not need anything. When you eventually give up and make to go, he seems relieved. Hey, listen, I'm awkward around people too, I get it. Let's go ahead and give him the nectar. The clay conductor fetches a spoon and several lumps of sugar. He mashes the lumps into the honey, then gargles the concoction. When he is done, you wrangle a little bit of his past from him. The clay conductor was in the clay choirs. His dead companion was a very talented clay chorister. I have hopes of finding someone with as good a voice again. One cannot be a chorus alone. I've heard tell of a clayman in the most serene mausoleum. The clay conductor tails off, clearly desiring your assistance, but unsure how to formulate the question. He stares at his feet instead. The most serene mausoleum. The place that we came from at the beginning of the game, the place that we were fleeing desperately as the captain died, was a place that had a very funereal name. It's like the place where the souls of the dead go. I'm sure the most serene mausoleum is there. Also, okay, so the whole thing I was trying to do when I opened that was to click on the journal. Because I wanted to try to remember, where was it that... Perdurance. We're looking for a place called Perdurance as well. Alright, well, let's just continue onward. This is the fastest we can go, huh? Alright. Turns out space is a pretty large place. Who would have guessed? London sprawls across the heavens. Its tea shops and factories, its gardens and orphanages, its ministries and gin houses. Okay, green lights. Green lights are good, usually. Where exactly is the dock here in London? Probably this way, because we're not quite at the center yet. I'll say this, it is quite large. Oh, the Ministry of Public Decency. Let's hope none of the people there recognize my face. It's alright, we'll just keep our captain's collar thing that we have on our coat raised real high. Wow, that's a fancy locomotive. Moves like a tackety, though. Probably ought to be careful about saying things like that while we're here. Well, this sure does look like the kind of building that would be at the dead center. Maybe the docks will be a little bit further out than this. Probably, right? Alright, you know what? Buddy, could you go find me the docks? Do a little bit of reconnaissance for us. Okay, they're further north. Cavi recounts its findings and a weather report. Bloody cold! I'm actually pretty surprised to hear that. I'm never clear on, like, how much the area is actually like outer space, because it's clearly not 100%. Well, if they're going to have better weapons and trains available anywhere, it'd probably be here, huh? Clamor of countless voices. Here we go. Yeah, see, like, if it was really like outer space, we probably wouldn't be able to hear all this stuff. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Let's level up before we go into London. Actually, no, never mind. Let's go into London and then level up, just in case we're, like, just a tiny bit short of a stat. London's chief station, draped in Union Jacks and studded with bronze busts of her enduring majesty. The platforms crowd with people. If the throne of ours is London's heart, this is its carotid artery. Oh God, my aunt is here. Dear God. Somehow she has found her way to the high wilderness. She is trying to get your attention with the frantic waving of her horrible hat. I know you've seen me. Listen, I've quite exhausted my possibilities here. I am a serviceable quartermaster, I have friends everywhere, and my scones are to die for. How's that for a curriculum vitae? Now let me aboard. Is she even your real aunt? Either way, you will have to deal with her. A quartermaster. That's actually a post that is unfilled. Alright, filial piety demands as much, and she does make a damn fine scone. We do not get along with our family very well. But apparently, she's good in a fight. We'll have to tell her a little gossip to get her aboard. Fine. Fine, fine, fine. Welcome aboard. She smiles with sincere delight. Here, take my bag. Her bag is very heavy. And my hat. Her hat is also very heavy. She was waving it around like it was no big problem. I guess this is where all that iron comes in, huh? Your crew are alarmed when she boards your engine. Their alarm only increases when she begins to pass comment. After a thorough survey of your locomotive, she graces you with a smile. There is work to be done. She has extracted gossip from you before she has even boarded. This woman is skilled. I mean, that's a skill set that's useful, right? And we did need a quartermaster. Alright, should we just... We don't really need to hire on crew. Yeah, I guess let's explore London a little bit before we try to pursue Captain Whitlock's will at all. Liberated from her prison below the earth and elevated to the heavens, prickled with chimneys, mantled in sooty smog. Here are old proud buildings transported block by pale block to the sky. Here are new edifices of soaring steel and stone and gleaming glass. The ultimate achievement of Victorian ambition, unhampered by terrestrial concerns. London is a feverish brew of aspiration, empire, and appetite. Alright, let's have ourselves a sniff of the air. The incautious driver spends hours sniffing at the air in search of familiar spores, and, again, is disappointed. Doesn't really seem like an easy way to do the thing. Alright, let's wander the streets. How often does one find themselves with a spare moment in London? All of the pubs are shut, so too are the salons, parks, gambling dens, honey houses, gin palaces, chop shops, and Backstreet bookshops. The ministry have wind of illegality. They are abroad today. Well, that's very inconvenient for me. What is the deal with the Silken Salon? The generous princess manages many affairs of court. She cultivates alliances, forms opinions, sets trends, makes introductions, suggests promotions, and dismantles reputations. She attracts rumors like a lantern attracts moths. It's said that she fears the light of the suns, and that her gifts inevitably destroy the recipients. Oh! She can sometimes be found in her salon, where she welcomes the visiting captains. Interesting. We could connect the generous princess with our cryptic benefactor to gain 300 sovereigns. I would like to leave our cryptic benefactor unspent for the moment, I think. We can trade her gossip for a very small amount of value. Or more gossip for a whole lot more. Ooh. Royal dispensation for 650 sovereigns. Interesting. Definitely not something we want to do. Even if we could. Alright. Find the address given in Captain Whitlock's will. You will make your way through little-used streets in one of London's lower, smoggier levels. On a secluded courtyard, flanked by the backs of warehouses and factories, stands a tall grey house with one door and no windows. When you knock, a blind butler answers. Yes? Well, let's give him the box, I suppose. I don't know what to do with it. The end of the line. The butler is pleased. Ah, our resident has arrived. Please, bring him in. Everything has been prepared according to Captain Whitlock's instructions. As you maneuver the black box inside, you ask what those instructions were. She has arranged for Master Jacob's convalescence with us. I understand the young gentleman has suffered from a prolonged illness which has left him unable to speak and afflicted him with a delicate disposition. The affairs of the house have been organized in such a way as to never inconvenience him. He will require no visitors. An extensive library has been provided for his edification. Privacy is paramount. With the box in place, the butler produces a key from his pocket, but waits for you to leave before using it. Thank you for your assistance, Archivist. If Amelia were still with us, she would thank you. Good day. You leave the house without windows behind. The matter of Captain Whitlock's legacy finally discharged. Well, that was a sort of an unsatisfying ending. Young Jacob. Maybe if we come back, we'll be allowed to meet Jacob. I'd be very curious to do so. Nope, I just don't even... We explore... Nope. Well, okay, maybe I should have blown up the outside of the box or something. I was pretty concerned that I wouldn't be able to open it without, or wouldn't be able to open the box without damaging it, right? Oh, hey, before I forget, we do have to actually assign our inconvenient aunt. And do we want to swap the clay conductor? 6 hearts, 2 iron, 2 hearts, 6 mirrors. We don't need the mirrors so badly. If we lost 6, we'd still be above 50. So 2 hearts, 6 mirrors, an affiliation with Bohemia. This is 6 hearts and 2 iron. What is my hearts right now? Poorish. Yeah, for let's say for the moment, let's swap them. Okay. The Office of Works is a bustling bureaucratic enigma. Behind its red-bricked flanks labored numberless clerks and surveyors. What mysteries lurk within its memoranda, its chits, and its receipts? What exactly are its eponymous works? No one is sure, but in a drafty loading bay, an unflappable foreman purchases supplies to complete outstanding work orders. Provide the foreman's requirements to earn payment. Okay, what does he want? The Office of Works, God bless her, has very particular requirements. Very particular. Let's have a look. Needs 2 caddies of dried tea and a vision of the heavens. I think we can afford to part with those things, right? We ended up with a ton of tea, way more than we need. And a vision of the heavens, which we don't need, and also we have a whole bunch of. Order 9821-C. Properly urgent, this one. I'm parched. Okay, yeah. You got it. What exactly do I get in return? 300 sovereigns and 10 the strength of the sun. The foreman cracks the lid and inhales a noseful of the scent. It would be too much to suggest that this is the fabled midnight tea that grows beneath a black sun. But perhaps, you intimate, it contains a leaf or two of that priceless plant. The foreman is intrigued and pays you promptly. I mean, that's a lot of money. I'm not sure if I want to be increasing the strength of the sun. I have some questions yet about the nature of the sun. Oh, we could just do it again straight up, huh? If you dislike the current order, this will request a different one. You can only change it every 15 days. Let's not do that again until I have some idea whether I want to be increasing the strength of the sun. I guess we're done here at the station. Let's walk around a bit. At the Steam and Sapphire Yards, we can repair our locomotive, which we absolutely should do. Same rate as in New Winchester. We could investigate rumors of an underground railway. We've heard of a less-than-legal organization operating out of the Steam and Sapphire Yards. Really, already I've heard. Or we could stop by the tobacco shop. The sign over the door once read, "McQuarrie & Son, Fine Tobacco," but since then someone has crossed out the word "fine" in a fit of honesty. Yeah, let's start with that. That seems harmless. Then, on a separate, more ominous occasion, they have crossed out "and Son." The building is embarked on a rapid descent into squalor. The paint peels. The windows are caked with grime. Well, let's inspect the wares. McQuarrie watches suspiciously as you examine his shelves. The selection is unimpressive, as is the quality. Neither Albion nor the Reach has found a genuinely good replacement for tobacco, though increasingly frantic smokers have tried lighting up virtually every example of Skyflora that has been discovered. A few Skyfarers mill about, examining the lower-grade flavors and speculating on exactly what McQuarrie is cutting them with today. The more expensive brands are untouched in their glass cases. You'd wonder how this place managed to stay open if it weren't for the fact that it is so obviously on the brink of closure, and probably collapse. Well, I don't have a lot of use for tobacco, so I guess we're done here. Make your way through the smog, which glows with the amber light of the distant clockwork sun. I've heard tale of a less-than-legal organization operating out of the Sapphire Yards. They pay for information and may offer work to the bold, the clever, and those willing to displease Her Majesty. We would have to have 2 affiliation villainy. Can we make that happen? Why do I have a point of affiliation villainy? Oh, that's just me, isn't it? +1 Ant's advice. Yeah, is that villainy just coming from me? Yeah, it's from something in my past. Right. Oh, the rats have an affiliation with villainy. So we would lose 6 iron and 2 hearts, but we'd gain 2 iron and 6 veils. So we'd be down 4 iron if we did that. Which would drop us to 40. Yeah, that seems fine. The incautious driver can maybe just take a little bit of a rest. So let's refresh that option. There we go. I have friends in low places. Perhaps they know something. Some might say the lowest of places. A lead. Your connections are reluctant to talk. Well, I hear the deniables have been sniffing about. Less known the better. London's deniable constables, the plain-clothed instruments of Her Majesty's displeasure, are a persistent superstition of the underclasses. Eventually, a dubious rag-and-bone man directs you to one of the engine houses. Talk to the bookkeeper. He'll see you right. We've heard about the New Street Line. He occupies a tiny, smoky office cobbled together from corrugated iron sheets in the back of one of the engine sheds. It is stacked with nicotine-stained account books and boxes full of oily brackets. The bookkeeper looks up as you enter and gestures to a chair. Okay, so we can give him our port reports. Anytime there's an auditor, he defends New Street's interests with a mountain fortress of files. We can also trade gratitude for savage secrets and unlicensed charts. That's very interesting. And his trust. Oh, apparently you have to be invited to Perturance. Okay. So we do, in fact, want to gain favor with these people. Well, I suppose let's deliver our port reports. I'm going to assume that the other option for reports... I'm going to assume this area works like the last one, in that there are 2 places we can turn in reports, and that, like in the last area, one of them will be associated with the Queen. This one is not, which means this one is our friend. The bookkeeper reads the reports swiftly, makes a few notations, then files them deeply in his haystack of financial records, beyond the attention of even the most persistent ministry auditor. Thanking you silently, he conveys that you are doing important work. So we have 1 point of gratitude and 100 sovereigns. Hey, it's the same as back home. Let's just chat with him for a moment. He offers you a cup of tea, savagely stewed and swimming with sugar. I'm assuming this is just going to be like, hey, give me port reports. Yep. He is deaf, but content to communicate through sign language or messages scribbled on a pad of paper. Obliquely, he explains that he does additional work for an organization unaffiliated with the government, which has an urgent need for up-to-date reports on other parts of Albion. Its patrons will pay for such intelligence to be brought to them, rather than the ministry. What's more, he implies, earning the organization's trust might open the possibility of additional work. Yeah, these are our people. Alright, well... good to have the right sort of friends, I suppose. He nods to you and returns to his ledgers. Cross the ringing engine house, with its scattered workbenches, its reek of oil, and return to the yards. So, nothing else to do here. Let's just swing by the ministry. This might be where the other place where we could turn in our reports. A whitewashed building near the Throne of Hours, crammed with a top-headed horde of auditors, inspectors, and correctors. The ministry curates the notion of Britishness, with all the care of a lepidopterist pinning a butterfly to a board. Well described. Well, I mean, I don't know that we're going to have a lot to do here, but let's just say hello to people. Tick, tick, tick. Albion's heartbeat. Clocks of diverse size and shape line the walls of this small gray office. Each is meticulously tuned by the royal horologists and inspectors, as practice for the thankless, complex task of ensuring the consistency of time across her renewed majesty's territories. Well, let's not talk to anybody just yet. Boy, do I want to try to become a horologist? That doesn't really seem like my sort of thing. Let's just have a look at the clock, shall we? From this side, it is a polished wonder of valves, pendulums, and cogs working in perfect harmony. Only the finest engineers were permitted to work on it. Every component is encased in polished glass. The hands, sharp enough to slice paper, slide between the exquisitely carved numerals with buttered smoothness. Only the second hand is permitted to jump from moment to moment, and it does so with the precision of a military march. That's just for tourists, of course, grumbles a bleary-eyed apprentice. Albion time's really based on the old TikTok man's pocket watch. He keeps us straight. Except that time on his 90th birthday, when he had one too many and the whole of Albion lost 2 hours. The TikTok man, eh? That sounds interesting. Let us speak to the chief horologist, I guess? I have questions about the TikTok man. He sits hunched in a thick gray blanket, his crow-like stare fixed on a disassembled clock. Its gears are almost too small for the eye to see. Times change, I've heard. Well, not if I have any say in it. He reaches for a pair of tweezers, the pincers barely thicker than a human hair. The time in London must be the time in Brabazon, in Warlbury, in New Winchester, in Lustrum, to the second. It is the privilege and duty of this office to ensure that continuity. He sniffs. A task that was considerably easier before we began spending hours like shillings and sixpences. Now it might be yesterday in one place and next week in another. It is most untidy. Okay, well that was not super useful. Let's examine the array of clocks. They all have the names of ports within Albion and the Reach. Lustrum, Brabazon, Port Prosper. Despite the vast distances involved and the complicating effects of local hour usage, all the clocks show the same time. Each of London's territories is expected to run on Albion Standard Time, but London is a long way from them. Despite being a commandment from the Empress's own lips, it is a law more often breached than observed. Well, it turns out there are laws made by man and there are laws made by nature. Some of them are easier to obey than others. Or easier to disobey, I suppose. Sure, let's ask about the nature of ours. I think I sort of have a grasp of it at this point, but maybe I can be told in a little more detail. The chief horologist doesn't bother to hide the weariness in his voice. No, despite the imaginative claims of certain penny dreadfuls, ours can't take you back to yesterday, nor leapfrog tomorrow. But with the use of our looms, a week's journey can be made to take a day, or a prisoner can endure the 10 years of his sentence, while only 1 year passes outside his cell. A work world can perform a month's labor in a week. A lifespan can be stretched. Empire, Archivist, runs on hours. I appreciate that everybody uses my proper title. Well, I mean, let's inquire about employment. Who knows what kind of benefits there might be to being a royal horologist? A job for serious people. Okay, maybe I'm not going to be very good at this. The chief horologist looks surprised at your inquiry. Horologists tend to be cut from a specific cloth, a rather grayer fabric than that worn by a skyfarer. However, you have the right to take the examination if you wish. He blows the dust off a textbook and bids you sit down. No calculation devices or writing implements are permitted. Okay, we might actually be good at this. Oh no, they're asking me, not the character. If the current time in Perderance is exactly 7:15 of the clock, and the time in Albion is 18:34, what, pray tell, is the current time in Lustrum? Hurry up. Well, we could bribe him if we had some hours. Ooh, okay. It's said that the clocks on the wall all show the same time. But I guess maybe not? I'm going to assume that the time in Albion is... I'm going to assume from the fact that all the clocks are the same, that the time in Albion is the time it's supposed to be everywhere, and that Perderance is slacking here. Even though Lustrum's not actually in Albion. That is your answer? Very well. We shall continue. And now a tricky one, perhaps. The chief horologist coughs. The train from the Brabazon Workworld arrives at 11:30 in London. The current time shown on the master Brabazon clock is, he winces, 14:30. If the train took exactly 1 hour to make the journey, it does not, of course, I merely offer this as a hypothetical for the sake of testing, what was the accurate time of its original departure from the workworld? Well, 10:30, yeah? Because London's always right? I'm assuming that the answer to these questions is London's always right. They're not... Okay, there we go. It actually entered. Interesting. Very interesting. You wait patiently for several minutes, but the third question doesn't seem to be coming. The chief horologist's eyes have drifted closed. A thin string of drool dribbles down from his otherwise dry lips as he snores. Nudge the chief horologist gently. The fellow must be pushing 100. Or he might be really a lot older than that. Who knows? He wakes with a start. Oh, excuse me. He glances at your answers. Well, you seem to have the idea. No point in going through the other 248 questions. Congratulations, you are officially a Royal Horologist, Apprentice 3rd Class. Wow, that was remarkably easy. He pauses. Speaking of which, I have an assignment for you. Temporal inconsistency. A suitable test of your practical skills. Take this pocket watch. It is both your badge of office and your compass, pointing to the correct time. Wear it proudly. Keep it well wound. Do not get it wet. The smaller gears are quick to rust. Yeah, wow, I was expecting that, like, this to be a thing we would fail at, and then it'd be like, here's what you actually have to do to pass the whatever. Okay, I guess I'm just a royal horologist. Sorry, did I get the job? I have an assignment for you. Temporal inconsistency. Is it... Sorry, is the test just to take the pocket watch and keep it wound? I thought he was going to say more stuff. Maybe I need to speak to him again. Nope, I guess we're good then. Weird. Who would have thought London would be kind of a weird place? I don't know if it's a good idea for me to stop in at the Ministry of Public Decency. What if they have my picture up somewhere? You know what? I'm overestimating my own importance. I'm sure they throw plenty of people in prison. A huge horseshoe-shaped building of white stone, white columns, clocks, and iron gates. Inside, its walls are paneled with dark wood. Crimson carpets, worn by frequent passage, flood the floors. Within its cubbyhole offices, auditors toil to protect the sensibilities of Londoners here in the heathen sky. Okay, so this is where we could turn in port reports. I do not wish to request an appointment. I know what they're going to say. Let's just go ahead and move on to shopping. So first of all, the bank. Okay, yep, same bank. Cool. What are we going to do with you? I have no idea. For now, I suppose we'll hold on to it, because I don't know what I might want to do with it. Here at the bazaar, we have some prospects available. The Clockwork Sun does not, of course, run on tea, but the battalion of engineers who maintain it surely must. Every month, a new tender for 3 caddies of dried tea is offered. Regular as, yes, clockwork. The Clockwork Sun lies a long way to the southeast of London. We have a bunch of tea. And then also 3 consignments of literature to Avid Horizon. Well, let's go ahead and dump some of our old prospects. I think I'm going to hold on to the Winchester Windows one. So this would go to the Trader's Wood, which is a place we intend to return to. It's really easy to get to Port Prosper. So it's probably one of these two is the other one we keep. Maybe I do drop the Winchester Windows. Completing this prospect will aid the war effort was the reason I was going to hold on to it. But I think we did that already. That's all. We are war efforted out. Let's abandon this and this. And pick up both of these. 3 caddies of dried tea is one more than I would like to sell off. But maybe we'll pick up another one somewhere. Alright. The Spitalfields market is, yep, just going to be a normal market. Let's go ahead and buy ourselves up here. Maybe even actually fill up. So we can just sell all these munitions, I guess. I don't really have a use for them. But we probably do want to actually hold on to all of our tea. The caged catch would sell for 200. Man, maybe that's what we should do with it. St. Dominic's Augmentations. Maintained by the Ministry, this yard for engine improvements and enhancements is a cut above. Oh, we have an assaying device available. Oh, blue quality stuff. Okay. The Portsmouth House Her Renewed Majesty's Jubilee Missile. This is a heavy weapon. There is a Black Jape. 20 damage, 30 heat. An automatic shotgun, which compensates in efficiency what it lacks in power. So 20 damage and 30 heat, as compared to the 24 damage and 40 heat of ours. Same range. It's probably an upgrade, but not much of one. Certainly not 1,000 sovereigns worth of an upgrade. So this would be this would be a bridge slot item. So we would be trading off crew holding for this. And this is a support slot item that just gives a ton of extra hold, but we would lose our canning ability or our mining ability. Honestly, the mining array has not proven to be very useful. Maybe we should swap that out for something else. I feel like we see a lot of stuff to assay, but then I also feel like we saw a lot of stuff to mine. I don't know. Let's think about it for a moment. What is on sale at the Crown and Misery Company yards? Scrupulously regulated, the Crown and Misery Company takes pride in the engines it manufactures. Well, most of them. Is it going to be the same trains? Oh no, this is one that wasn't available at the other spot. Thundering Puissance, the terror of the skies, the harbinger of conflict. That's a really good train. Fuel efficiency is bad, but yeah, quite an improvement, actually. 6,000 is not even that much. Right, we're like a third of the way there. Alright, that is totally doable. We might try to get one of those. I'm wondering if I want to swap out the mining array for an assaying device. Or we could, like, just throw in... Well, I can't actually use this. I'm kind of curious what we might actually get. The mining array is just giving us hours, right? And hours are certainly useful. We've seen a lot of things that hours are good for. With this, I would imagine we would just get, like, information, right? This is just a spying glass. We're not going to get anything material from it. And I can't imagine it's going to give us any of the kinds of information we really want. So we probably... Yeah, we probably don't want to buy this. Okay. So I don't know if we're going to be able to... if we're going to be able to advance our ambition here. I kind of assumed we'd be able to do it in any major port. I suppose our publisher is in New Winchester. But I'm wondering if maybe it's just because of... maybe we're just not... Hey, you know what? It didn't actually give us the description anymore about the Inquisition being out and about. So maybe there's just... We don't have that many options in London. Okay, well, I guess that is what it is. So... For right now, the thing we need most to do is to find perturance, right? That's important to us in a bunch of ways. Apparently we're going to need... we're going to need an invitation, which we can get from the guys at the train yard in exchange for gratitude, which we will get by helping them out, which we will do by exploring, bringing in port reports, and generally looking for opportunities to make mischief. So I guess that general directive is what we will pursue next time. For now, thank you all so much for watching, and come back tomorrow for troublemaking. We'll see you then.